Hey everybody, welcome to Live at 6:45. Now, you'll notice that I'm going public today. I've taken it to the streets, and it is very, very windy. So if you guys, if I'm talking a little loud, it's just because of the wind. I'm not sure how you guys are going to hear me, but here we are. We're going live. We're on Wellington Street in Verdun. For those of you who are not Montrealers and don't recognize it off by heart, and I want to thank the one person who has already tuned in. Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm going to just grab my notes because. To recap, I wanted to come prepared. So, let me start out with this. Let me start out with Pete's question. Pete posted something on the announcement for the live, and he asked about Star Trek. Would it have been Star Tech? Actually, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek. No, unfortunately, I did actually do the research on this, Pete. No, it's not Star Tech. It is actually Star Trek, as in trekking through the stars. Which debuted on September 8th, 1966, and had 3 seasons on NBC, and was inspired by Horatio Hornblower novels by C.S. Forester, the 1726 novel Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, and the 1956 movie Forbidden Planet, not to be forgotten for the influence it also had on the Rocky Horror Picture Show and RKO radio in general. Also a lot of television westerns, which of course kind of defined the format for that, and a lot of the style for Star Wars too. So there you go. George Lucas was highly inspired by the westerns too. So great influence there. So I hope that answers that question, Pete. All right, so guys, for those of you who have been tuning in, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, for those of you who are watching this after the fact, I still want to say welcome to the tribe. This is really about having conversations and having really, really good conversations around technology. And let me kind of recap the last few days and give you an idea as to why. My big deal goes with why would I be doing this? Why am I here? Well, I'm a graphics technician, and most of my career I was a graphics technician. I worked in print, video, graphics, anything to do with visuals on a computer. And I found the technology got very simple. I was very fortunate in that I had a very, very easy time understanding technologies, and I really was able to boil it down to this golden mean, this very kind of super logical, almost flowchart-esque, formulaic type setup. So tech became very, very simple. So I wanted to know how people work with their tech, and I delved into psychology, applied psychology actually, and so that has been my specialty. And really, my entire career has become around how people relate to information. But a lot of the information nowadays comes through one form of technology or another. So that's my big shtick, is all about people and technologies, and how people relate to it, how they really, how do we use this stuff? How does it influence us, and how do we influence it, and how does that relationship work? And it does work as a relationship, and it's really, really important to know that. So the other thing that I noticed is, 2020 was a really, really strange year for, well, I wouldn't hesitate to say all of us. It was a very, very strange year. However, what it threw into sharp relief is that we are at a really, really pinnacle time. A really, really pinnacle time. And I see these tools, I see the trends, I see, actually, you know what? It's funny. I was setting up, and I actually found somebody. We're gonna do an interview. This is a guy. He's doing a PhD. His name is Ludovic. He's super, super cool. He's doing his PhD on artificial intelligence. So we're gonna get him on the show and do a really, really great. We'll do a roundtable and discuss. And you guys, as always, you are welcome to share your comments, questions, anything into. Go ahead, shoot me a comment or question, anything. I will put up my email towards the end of the episode, so you can, if you want to email me a question, great. I love it. But ultimately what I found is that if we don't grab hold and start using our technology well, because we don't choose our future. If we're not choosing our future, somebody's going to choose it for us. And that's just a fact. That's a truth. And I don't want somebody choosing my future for me? Tell me if this is you. Do you agree with me? Do you want somebody else choosing what your technology should and shouldn't tell you, what you should and shouldn't be allowed to say, what you can share, what you can't share, and how you can use it? Oh, well, or, oh, well, we don't really like how you're paying. You have to use, oh, I know there are self-serve cashiers. I don't use them. I don't like them. I like dealing with people. I like going to a bank teller to deposit my checks. Why? I know the ATM can do it. I know I can take a picture with my phone. And that's okay. But when a teller takes a check and runs it through their machine and says, "Thank you, Mr. Struther, it's done," and hands me a receipt, it's done. And I actually get to have a nice interaction. I say hello. I like interaction. I like people. I like dealing with people. And even if you don't like people, you can still like I know there are people who don't like people. Fine. That's okay. If you don't like people, no problem. But we shouldn't discount the fact that we still need other people. And let's be honest, it's just nicer than the cold machine going, "Oh, please put it in the bag." So, so I don't like those caches, and I don't use them. I refuse. And if that's my only option, then I'll shop elsewhere. I think I've mentioned that before, actually. So, sorry, I'm repeating. But, well, this is a recap, so it's kind of part of the process, isn't it? So, it's all about using technology well. We want to use technology well so that technology isn't using the people who make the technology or who make the services aren't using us. And there is a bit of that going on right now. I talked about dopamine hacking. I talked about, and dopamine, of course, is the kind of infinite scroll. There's a lot of that. And, we should be demanding better. We can have better. There are ways. The problem being when people start looking and saying, "Oh, well, it worked this way. It's always worked this way, so we're just going to keep going." Oh, hey, Dennis. I see my friend Dennis joined on, so he's going to say, "I remember trying to connect my Wi-Fi without a Wi-Fi router. Good times." So, always good to have the router. Always good to have the router. Yes, always good to have a router. It definitely helps. So, yes, we want to get into this. And the big trick with technology, especially nowadays, is to use it with intention. And I mean, let's be honest. If you look at any of the self-help gurus, I mentioned this, we need to live and act and work with intention and to really take advantage. And the reason I mentioned this is because if technology isn't giving you back time, value, or the results you're looking for, if you're not getting what you want out of your technology, it's like it's like the ships. Ships are meant to take you places. So if your partnership, friendship, or relationship isn't going anywhere, abandon ship. We shouldn't be using tech if it's taking away from our lives. Technology is designed to add to our lives. So if it isn't, then that's a serious question. We kind of need to look at that, right? Another thing that, and I will mention this again, like this is super important, the I am principle. The words I am are extremely important for your mind, in your brain. I am, whatever you say after I am, your brain will take to heart. And if people keep saying, "I'm not good at this, I don't know this, I can't learn this stuff," oh, Henry Ford, man. If you think you can do the thing, if you think you can do a thing, or you think you can't do a thing, you're right. But more importantly, even with your internal dialogue, and this is majorly important, whatever you say after I am, you really do, your brain really does run with this stuff. It really takes it and goes further. So you know what? I mentioned the exercise, I am able to learn, I am able to improve. And it's not to say there's anything wrong with you in the first place, but I can improve my ability with technology. I can improve this, that, or the other, whatever it is, whether it's painting, drawing, which half the time I do on the iPad anyway, right? But whether it's painting, drawing, whether it's making music, whether it's anything you say in terms of I can learn this, I can become better at this, you'll find that the more you say it, the more accurate it becomes. I mentioned a couple of days ago that tech, the difference that tech is highly customizable. You can really get your technology to kind of work certain ways, or there's a lot of customization options. Sometimes a little too much. Sometimes it can be daunting. And you know, it's funny. I was having a great conversation yesterday with somebody who said, well, man, I go to buy a new TV, and it's just like I see 50 models or 30 models, and what's the difference? They all say 4K. They all say this. They all say that. How do I choose? It's too much. It can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. It's customizable. There can be too much. Technology is highly customizable, but it's not adaptive. It does not adapt. And because adaptive requires an active learning process on their part, not on yours. Customization requires active parts on yours to make it easier. It doesn't make it better? Probably does, especially that it's easier for you. Does it make it better? Well, that's subjective. Adaptation isn't. Adaptation makes it better for you because it has the work going on in the back end. Or the developers need to put in that work, and you need to tell them because, again, nobody's a mind reader. Humans are terrible at it. Machines are even worse at it. So let's go over a few other things that machines are particularly bad at. You know what? I'm going to give them their due. Machines. Machines are consistent. They are consistent, but they have a problem about the consistency. Machines are consistent to a fault, which means that if you tell them to make 1,000 copies and you only want 100, they'll make 1,000 and they'll keep going, unless you tell them to stop. Machines will do exactly what you tell them. There is no critical thinking. That's a human trait. There is no self-preservation. That's a human trait. If you give a computer legs and tell it to walk into a lake, it will. It will do whatever you tell it unquestioningly. Which brings us to number 2. Machines are accurate. Again, if you tell a machine to walk in a certain direction, it doesn't matter what it hits along the way, it'll keep walking in that direction as best it can, regardless of the obstacles or things that will crush it, destroy it, just block its path, whatever it'll trip over. So they are accurate to that point, which also comes with the fact that they have no emotions. Here's a catch. I really have to mention this for those of you. Humans are emotional creatures, and this is to our benefit. When it comes to your machine, whatever it is, your cell phone, your computer, whatever, if you're going to get mad at it and get annoyed and yell and scream because it does something for you. Don't get mad at it because it doesn't care. Not that it disrespects you, it really just doesn't have the capacity. It's emotionless. And let's be honest, machines don't get bored either. You can tell it to calculate something 1,000,000 times. It'll do it. We get bored. We stop. Why? Because, well, our critical thinking realizes it's pointless. Whereas machines are not intelligent. I don't care how smart AI is supposed to be or what have you. And this is a fantastic question. Deb just chimed in. Will AI ever be able to make critical decisions? As it stands currently, the answer is no. Artificial intelligence can only make critical decisions given the parameters it's given. I mentioned the computer. If we gave a computer legs and told it to walk in a certain direction, it would walk in that direction as much as it could until it was told to stop or it's no longer physically capable of doing so. When programmers gave a computer simulator or an AI simulation a box and 2 legs, and it said, okay, you need to create legs and you need to get to the end of this obstacle course. The computer gave the box 40-foot tall legs, and it literally just fell over and finished the finish line. It broke the legs broke on all the obstacles, and it completed the course. It didn't do it in the way they thought, but it did it. But we have a lot of presumptions that AI just doesn't. So can it think critically? Only if it's told to, and within the parameters it is told to, but no, not in the way a human would. It wouldn't go, this doesn't seem right, because it doesn't have a hunch. It doesn't even have much sensory input outside of its own, because it doesn't understand the context of the result. But like I said, I've got a guest lined up, so we're going to have some fun with this one. We're going to ask Ludovic all these questions. We're going to have some fun with this. So please hit me up with your AI questions. We're going to see what we can find out, because I'm going to learn some of this too. I mean, I know a fair amount, but you know what? I'm always open to new perspectives, which, by the way, I will get to again. Humans are creative. We are intelligent. We can make leaps in logic that machines cannot and will not. Machines, again, can make certain leaps based on input, but they don't generally make their own. Even the biggest computers at Google, actually the biggest computers at Google started making started making these connections, but strictly data connections, nothing creative, just links between information, mostly in terms of Google Translate, in terms of, hey, if this word means, say, ambulance in this language, and this word means ambulance in this language, and this language is derivative of that language, and this means, it started making links between words, but it wasn't making critical decisions. It certainly wasn't taking context into account, and it really, really wasn't taking the nuance. That's something that we can get that computers just can't, and that's part of our creative and intelligent. That's like computers may make puns, but they won't make really good jokes, not really good ones. Humans are empathetic. Humans can also, on that note, extrapolate. We can think forward. We can think what's coming, or we can look at a trend and kind of extrapolate or interpret what's coming next, or whether this will continue for a long time. Computers can't make these kinds of assumptions, or they just can't calculate that. They can only look at statistical probabilities, and let's be honest, statistics are great, but they're not flawless. And we can prove that. Just look at the media. It's proven all the time. Humans, on the other hand, are not quite as accurate as computers. I don't care how good a human you are. 9 in the morning is 9 in the morning, and let me tell you, your alarm clock will go off at 9 a.m. infinitely faster than any human will catch you exactly at 9 a.m. But we use that to our advantage, and why shouldn't we? Let's take their strengths, let's take computers' strengths, and blend it with the best of us, and we get further ahead. So all of that we've covered in the past few days. We've got stuff going forward. I'm really excited for what we've got coming down, or what's coming up. I plan 10 days in advance, so I'm always planning kind of 10 days. I want to leave you with this. Like politics, or like government, media, and corporations are supposed to be there for us. They're supposed to give back. Corporations, by their corporate mandates, are supposed to give back to the community, supposed to give back to society. But in the way that government, media, and corporations are supposed to be there for our benefit, and increasingly we are being presented evidence to the contrary, and I won't get into that more than that. Technology is supposed to be there for us, but it will only be there for us if we use it in the right ways, if we think about it intentionally. I said I would put my email up, so let me do that. Here we go. So anybody who wants to send any comments, questions, feedback, love it all. Guys, those of you who tuned in, thank you. Those of you who are going to watch this later, awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Love it. If you hit me with the comments or questions after the broadcast, after I go live, yes, I will see them. I do. I check all the. I get notified for comments, so I make sure to see all of these. And the biggest reason that I'm kind of going on about tech or technology specifically is because, unlike those others, technology is the tool that can connect us, that can give us more of the best of ourselves. It can be a tool for great change. And more than anything else, it can help us find the answers to government and media. Because you know what? Quite frankly, I don't watch the news. I get the news from my friends. Usually, and my friends are critical thinkers. So I get good news. It's not just one news source. And we have, sometimes we have good laughs. Sometimes we look and go, that's crazy. And that's okay. But technology is the tool that can connect us, that can get us back, that can bring out the best in us, that can connect us, that allows us to collaborate, and that can bring us together, whether we're whether we're in lockdown or not. We can really kind of get the best of ourselves from technology, through technology as well. And it can be a great tool for the musician or the writer or the artist. Or welcome to the tribe. Let's keep the conversation going, guys. Hit me up in the comments. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, 6:45, and have a great night.